Hey, it's Suzanne. It's August 5th, 2018, and I want to give you an update. Ever since I got video editing software, I told myself I would do a good job and take better videos, maybe some how-tos, and edit them, and I just don't have the time. So I'm going to go back to quick vlogs. I'm going to take you out to the garden first. This is mostly going to be a failures vlog. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff that's not so pretty, that didn't do well this summer. I lost one of the apple trees in the new orchard. I do anticipate some mortality, and you should also whenever you're starting an orchard. This guy's not going to come back. He's dead. This one was doing okay until just this last week, and we started to lose some limbs. So I don't know if it's going to make it. Come on, Jack, stay with me. I have my honey supers out here getting cleaned out by the bees. I've already extracted honey. This is the smallest harvest that I've had probably in 6 years, but I still did get enough honey for my family. I just won't be able to sell a large amount. Look at the weeds. Look at all these weeds. This is from 2 months of not weeding. So if you haven't watched any of my other videos, I do work full-time. My husband works full-time. We have 2 kids. And plus, I don't like being outside in July. Nor do I like being outside in August. It's very hot. So, and then in the months of May and June, I'm primarily focused on harvesting everything with my spare time. So, we did have a row of green beans here. This was the last row of green beans that we planted. It didn't do good. The last 2 rows didn't do good. It gets so hot in June and July that things like green beans, tomatoes, cucumbers, if they really aren't already going by then, they're not going to make it. I don't grow indeterminate tomatoes or green beans for that reason, because they're, I want something that's going to put everything out and be done before the heat of the summer. I tried some indeterminate beans over here. They maybe made a handful of green beans. But the first 2 rows of green beans that I planted, I got a ton of green beans out of those. I think I ended up getting about 60 pints, so I did meet my goal. The Armenian melons were here. They didn't produce that well. The cantaloupes were here. They didn't produce that well, and the weeds were not that bad whenever the cantaloupes were going. The trick with the cantaloupes, I think, next time is that I need to get them out sooner. It just got too hot for them. I should have gotten about 40 cantaloupes from that space, and I only got 5, I think. The watermelons are starting to show signs of stress from the heat. That being said, I harvested 2 wheelbarrows full of watermelons. I think I probably had a dozen watermelons from this space, and then I've got several more in here that I knocked on earlier today. That's a trick with watermelons. Most watermelons, the tendril will die closest to the melon when it's ready, but some hybrids, like some of the sugar baby bush hybrids, aren't like that. If you knock on them, ones that are not fully ripe sound more like a knock on a metal door, and ones that are sound more like a knock on a wood door. So it's a lower pitch. The lower pitch sound means that the melon is ready. All right, and I'll show you the weeds I have pulled. Over the past week, I came out about 30 minutes at a time, and I pulled weeds on this row right here. I haven't pulled this out because there's a watermelon tangled in there with it. I have 2 purple sweet potatoes that survived. I ordered 24 slips, and it was so hot when they shipped them. I ordered them late. I ordered them in June. It was so hot when they shipped them that they were like cooked. They were steamed in the box. So it wasn't even an issue with them being wilted, like they were cooked. So I only had a couple of those survive. Well, I said 2, but it looks like it might be 3. All right, let's come look. Let's see. 1, 2. This is the one right here that looks like another plant. Let's see where it's coming from. Yeah, okay, awesome. Awesome. So I do have 3. That's a nice surprise. The peppers are starting to show some stress, and I do need to weed around those really good. Pull out the diseased ones and then spray them with neem oil, put compost out, and then if I can get them to live through September, they will bounce back. They'll bounce back in September and November, and I'll get a few peppers. And the same thing with the eggplants. It's just really too hot, and they start to succumb to so many bugs and fungus that, I'm sorry I'm saying so much, by the way. Bugs and fungus that it just is not worth the effort. I have, there goes again, sorry about that. I have a couple of, what are those? That's the roselle hibiscus, so that's for tea. They haven't started flowering yet, but we should get some flowers from those soon. This is okra. Something's eating my okra, so I've got to spray it. I just put some rabbit manure out here and weeded. But the okra is kind of sad this year. We don't eat too much okra, so that's okay. Got loofahs here, Chinese okra. That's actually pretty good when I've caught it small enough. I mean, you have to get it right when it flowers, or else it tastes fibrous. We've got long-handled dipper gourds here. And then we've had some birdhouse gourds down here, but they are getting some bug damage. So I'm gonna have to come in and spray these with neem oil. And then some fungal damage as well. You can see bugs. Okay, so that's the garden. It's a mess. It's always a mess in August. Always. My garden always looks terrible in August. And I'm okay with that. I like being outside the rest of the year just fine. I just don't like being outside in July and August. Jack! Hey, buddy. I have to keep up with him because the other thing I'm going to give you an update on. The girls had a 4-H project that they were working on called Chick Chain. And it's where they each get 6 chickens from 4-H babies, and they raise them up. And come here, Jack. Hey, buddy. And they keep notes and receipts and all kinds of information. And then in the fall, they take them to the fair and show them. Well, one of the requirements is that they be housed separately from any other poultry at your house. So we built them a really nice coop just for their 4-H chicks, and a fox got into it a week after we built it and killed every single chicken. I think they were at about 8 weeks old, so the girls had put, that arm's getting tired, the girls had put about 2 months of effort into it, and fox killed every one of them. We know it was a fox because we've seen the fox before, and we're having a heck of a time catching them. He's super difficult to catch. So there's our 4-H coop over there. We've shored up the bottom. It's too late for the kids to do that activity this year. I was thinking about trying to buy some chickens from someone else in the program, some of their extra ones, but with us not having caught the fox, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. So that's why I'm having to call him and make sure he's right next to me. I have to keep Jack next to me because all along that fence line over there, that is the fox's corridor. We tracked some of the feathers, and if you know anything about tracking wildlife, there are some subtle signs you can look for. So anyhow, that whole thing is rigged with all different kinds of traps. Some friendly, some not so friendly. But I'm going to try to put a batch of chicks that I hatched out in there and see what happens. Chickens need new bedding. They almost always need new bedding. I think it disintegrates when it gets in there. The rabbits are on hold because it's summertime. It's very hot. They don't do well in the heat, so I don't have them breeding right now. But as soon as September rolls around, I'll get that rotating again. We just separated babies from mama. We have all the females in here now, the older females. That's a baby female over there. We haven't named her yet. And then we have all of our males in this back pen back here. including the baby male. He's pretty big. I don't know, he may end up being overheight for a Nigerian, so we're watching that. And the cows, I don't see them, so they're probably in the creek. Okay, so that was a quick update, and maybe since I don't have any edits to do, I can just upload this really quick. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thanks.